Hey everyone, I have a special guest for you today. I have someone that is huge in the social media game. He has a presence and a focus on helping agents stand out. I think that is something that is tremendous. I know I expect to learn a lot from this show. So let's welcome Aaron Martinez to the show. How you doing, man?
Dude, I'm doing absolutely fantastic. Super stoked to be on here and share some of the stuff we're going to talk about. So thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. Well, before we get into kind of questions about the business, how to stand out, why now is the time to do it, let's introduce the audience to who is Aaron. What do you do? How'd you get in this crazy game of real estate? All that good stuff.
Yeah, really long story short, I'm a talker, so I'll try to keep it a little bit shorter. So long story short, my journey, we'll say within real estate, starts a couple years back. I guess maybe a little bit before that. Really got engulfed in the world of social media. So that's mostly through the YouTube side, creating video. I've been doing video content for the past, we'll say 10, 11 years or so.
Okay.
And that's where everything started, was, starting to establish my voice in the space and, a lot of, teaching people how to use social media, Snapchat when it was a thing a couple years back. I was able to do a couple really excited things. I partnered up with Zillow it's a series they called Snap House. So they took, they got like an entire film crew. They flew me and 5 other creators out to this, it was a $14 million house in Malibu, right on the beach. And they literally just documented our lives for 24 hours of what it was like to create social media content. So that was partnered with Zillow. And then I was the host of the world's first Snapchat award show.
Wow.
So I was able to, build a following there and teach people how to use that. But where that transition happened is Snapchat kind of died off. And I was like, okay, well, now what am I going to do? Because all I know is Snapchat. And, with that partnership through Zillow, started to do a lot of research on real estate. I partnered up with a local company to help them with their video production, some of their advertising, things like that. Pretty large company, had about 300. Now they probably have like 500 agents, but at the time they had 300 agents. Okay. And really kind of fell in love with that process. So just, everything from the content creation, from lead generation, they had everything kind of situated. So I was able to learn a lot there. Of course, worked there for a couple of years and then transitioned into doing my own thing. So I'm really taking some of the bits and pieces that I learned from that well-oiled machine and just transitioning more into, building it for myself. And now we help, real estate agents, brokers, teams across the US do just that, stand out via, whether it's Facebook ads, YouTube ads, things like that. And then also on the video creation side as well. So
that's awesome. There's a lot in there. So let's kind of step through this from my standpoint. First and foremost, I think real estate agents need to realize that video is where it's at today, right? It is amazing what you could do to build a following, to generate leads, really to do anything you want. But what people need to realize is it takes time. And it takes consistency. It takes focus. I have seen a lot of people, right? I've been doing this YouTube channel now for about 2.5 years. I put out 2 to 3 original pieces every single day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, and to get where I'm at. And I'm nowhere close to where I could be. But so how do you help real estate agents appreciate that? If they're going to do this, it is a long-term commitment, because that's where I see most people fall down.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. Now, the reason I got up is because I wanted to share this. So this, what this is. This is so it's a plaque that after you reach 100,000 subscribers. We're at right now about 200,000. So this is literally like blood, sweat, and tears and full time, obviously, of building YouTube channel. It took me about 5 years to figure out like how to crack the code on YouTube, how to grow organically and get in front of the right people, right? It's one thing to, do a whole sub for sub type thing that doesn't really grow the channel, but doing it organically. But just, I think the one exercise we'll say that I give everybody is the cool part about it is, yes, it does take time, but there is like in the grand scheme of things, I think the last time I looked, there's like 1.5 million real estate agents in the US. Yeah. And the amount of ones that are doing video content right now is like grain of sand, right? In comparison. So whereas, yes, it will take a little bit of, consistency to get that ball rolling initially. Yeah. It's going to be something that not a lot of people are going after. Oh, but sure. I mean, in 2 years from now, right, with the whole like EXP, it's just like this model where you can literally impact a lot of different people. Yeah. it's something where people are going to start catching on. So definitely jumping on before.
No, I think, you know, if I were running a brokerage or a real estate agent or wanted to have a company, video would be the way to go. Because again, what a lot of creators suffer from is creating the ideas for original content. And the beauty about real estate is it changes every day. You get listings, you get buyers, you get walkthroughs, you get remodels. I mean, it would be so easy, and the content would be so visually appealing, right?
Yeah.
Let me walk you through a total dump. Blah, 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 blah. I'll come back in a week and do it again. And here's the update.
Yeah.
You know, there's just so many things you could do. And then real estate agents, the beauty of what you have is you are by nature micro-focused, right? You may be licensed for California, but you are in this metro for the most part. And oh, by the way, not only are you in this metro, but you probably have a focus inside that metro. Yes, you'll have business elsewhere, but you know, I'll talk about my market, the Tower District in Fresno, or the Lowell District, or you know, Clovis. And why I bring that up is, again, thinking about the original content and trying to become a domain expert. Just think about Clovis, for example. Not that you need to know it's just a city. You could go, hey, here's the top 3 restaurants I enjoy. Here's the mom and pop print store I use for my flyers. Here's the mom and pop this. Just become that expert. And when you get that library, and the library doesn't have to be deep, right? You get 30 videos about being Clovis, and they're all titled Clovis. You're already popping up, even with a very small subscriber base. Anybody who's at home like you and I going, hey, I'm looking for a home in Clovis. You're going to eventually start popping up on those screens. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, 1,000,000%. And that's actually something we are transitioning and starting to help people with as well, as more of the organic side. Because I will be honest, like the majority of what we've focused on up to this point has been paid, right? So you give Google, you give YouTube, you give Facebook X amount of dollars, and they'll give you, you know, leads, phone numbers, you know, of people. But a great point of what you just said is like focusing in on those terms of what people are actively searching for. And we can go, I mean, this could be a 3-hour conversation of keyword research, figuring out, you know, what people are searching. But, you know, those things that you said are really good examples. Other things that we've seen is literally just simply what it's like to live in Clovis, right? What it's like to live in these areas, or, you know, other videos we've seen success with are like pros and cons of the city, right? Because if someone's looking to move there, I think the common misconception, or where people, I wouldn't say waste time, because I think they're good video ideas, but things like listing videos and like house tours and things like that, they're great. And obviously it looks really good for, let's say you're trying to work with a seller. You're like, hey, I'll create this video for you. But what it does is like people aren't actively searching for those things, right? And in YouTube's algorithms, again, not to get super nerdy, but it does kind of like bring your channel down a little bit because people aren't really searching for those things. And the beautiful part of being able to target things like moving to X city or whatever it is, as opposed to, you know, what does the home buying process look like? Those two types of people are very different, right? The one that's looking to see what the home buying process looks like probably either has an agent in mind or they already have one, right? The ones that are just looking to move in these places, if you can capture that right keyword and you can get in front of those people that have no idea what the area is like, they don't know anybody in the area, they don't have an agent, and you give them the value and the information they need of moving there, you've solved their problem, and they're going to call you first.
Yeah, that's exactly what this is about. Is you're not looking for the person that, you know, I'm buying a house on Maple Street. You want the person who's going, I'm coming to Clovis, just to stay on this analogy or this story, right?
Yeah.
Think very early on, right? Or, you know, or you go the other side, right? Think about somebody who's selling a Clovis home, right? My parents, right? They've lived there for 40 years and you know, they're moving in with me, or, you know, they're passing on or whatever it is. Real estate agents need to be using video because, again, the whole idea is 4 to 8 minutes, 4 to 10 minute content, one topic. And the hardest part of doing YouTube is creating original content that's meaningful. Real estate agents, it's out there for you. And none of your, I shouldn't say none, almost none of your peers are doing it. You could dominate your market in 90 days.
Can I give a secret like YouTube tip of
Sure,
give like literally a list of videos that you guys can go create? So the cool part about YouTube, again, we're talking a lot about YouTube, is the search bar is literally a search engine. It's suggested videos. So what I would do for you guys specific in your area, again, staying on the Clovis idea, is go to YouTube, type moving to Clovis, or you can even just put Clovis, and the suggested topics are the most searched terms in that specific area. So literally take all of those videos, right? Like for example, it'd probably say Clovis moving to, Clovis best restaurants, Clovis, pros and cons, Clovis, and then make a video on all those different things.
Exactly.
And you're literally capturing what people are actively searching for. We can take the next step and put moving to Clovis, and then literally just type in the letter A, and then the letter B, and the letter C. You're going through, and you literally just get all of these different terms, and you can create, I have a backlog list of like 80 different types of videos that you can create for pretty much every single market that are ones that are proven to get searched basically in every area. So there's little tips and tricks like that. If you're like, well, I don't know what video to make, let YouTube tell you what to make. So you're not making videos, they're not getting views, and you're like, well, is this actually working? Yeah. You get the positive feedback loop of getting those views, and that ultimately turn into buyers and sellers. That's gonna keep you motivated long-term.
Yeah, there you go. I love these little tips and tricks. So keep throwing them in there anytime you want. I'll take notes as well. The other thing I just thought I'd want to talk about is organic versus paid, right? Clearly, this is an area of focus. Just in case, let's not assume people know that you can buy ads on YouTube. Let's not assume that. Why don't you talk about that process, why you would do it, what it's good for, what it's bad for? Talk about that.
For sure. It's funny. I'm literally about to record a video just like this later on today with paid versus organic, and then YouTube versus Facebook. But so the benefits of both and the difference between both is organic is literally just a fancy word of saying there's no really money going behind it. It's just something that is going up on YouTube, going on up on Facebook, and it's completely free, right? You post it on there. I mean, other than maybe like other cost of like softwares or whatever it is. But again, for the most part, it's free. Those live on there. And the cool thing about YouTube, Facebook is it's evergreen content. So it'll always be on there. And then we have the paid side of things, which is literally giving Facebook, giving YouTube, giving Google, a certain amount of money per month. And in exchange, they return with whatever your objective is. So if you want leads, they're going to give you leads. If you want impressions, if you want likes, if you want followers, right, they're going to give you that in return based on, what the, what you're, we'll say, optimizing for. The suggestion that I always give to everybody is really, what are your goals and what do you want out of the campaign? So for example, I talk to probably 50 real estate agents, brokers, teams every week. Yeah. And, I always ask them a question of like, what are your goals in the next 6 months? What are your goals in the next 12 months? And if the answer is something where they want aggressive growth, it's something that I would definitely recommend a paid strategy for, right? Because organic, like we've talked about, it's that consistency. It's the, you need to do things every single day, every week over a long period of time to reap the benefits of, that end goal. So that being said, you have the trade-off of time versus money. So if you want it quickly, you're going to need to pay for it, essentially is what I'm saying, right? So if you want, for example, there's a campaign that we recently launched here in my local area. We're targeting specifically sellers. Okay. Sellers market's pretty much all around the US right now. So we're, everyone's like, I need listings, I need sellers. Listings. Yep. Exactly. So listings are king. So we're focusing in on sellers, and we're, full transparency, we're probably spending about $1,000 to $2,000 a month just into the ads to generate these people. And over the past 3 weeks, I think we've generated like 40 leads, 40 leads. I was looking at this yesterday, 40 leads, 9 appointments with sellers, as well as I think one closed deal, and then one that's like right on the cusp. Like they're having a consultation later on this week in 3 weeks. Right. So that's something where over 1, 2, 3 months, they're going to be able to turn a lot of those people over. But again, it's not just something where it's like, oh, we'll, boost the ad for $5, right? Or, throw $100 into it. It's something where obviously the return on the investment is going to be huge. But of course, that initial expectation of like, okay, I'm not going to get anything like tomorrow, but it's going to be, 3 months as opposed to, 6 months to bring in 1 lead. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So I'm going to walk up this chain just to see how it goes. So let's think about the real estate agent, single member, maybe even part-time. Let's say they've been in their market forever. So they have the history, the relationships, they can do their thing. What would be let's pretend like they're part-time. Let's try to walk this together. What would you tell that agent, again, in today's market's absolutely a seller's market, leads are king. What would be some advice for that agent? Maybe they are doing 4 deals a year, 2 deals a year, and they want to double that. What kind of coaching or advice would you give them, that kind of person?
Okay. So they're part-time. You said they're doing about 4 deals a year. And what are their goals?
Double that. They want to do 8.
Okay. They want to do 8 per year. Okay. So in that, I mean, to be honest, in that specific scenario, I mean, like I said, we talk to people from from the very beginning, they just got their license all the way down to, you know, I don't know if you've heard of Chuck Fazio, but we just started working with him in Phoenix. We were going back and forth. He has like 800 agents or something like that. Wow. So again, his ad spend of what he's trying to hit is insane. Yep. So for that specific scenario, what I would probably say is sticking more towards the organic side.
Yeah. Well, just be clear. I was hoping that was the answer. Because paid can't be the answer for everyone. I was a test, so you passed.
100%. It's not something like, and this is our standpoint, right? Like, just because we're a company, we have a service, we're not always going to try to sell something to somebody. That's our biggest thing. Good. Is we don't sell anything on like our first 2 phone calls. We get on a conversation, figure out where are you right now, where do you want to be, like what's holding you back, right? And if it makes sense for us to be like, okay, you want to do, right now you're doing 1 deal a month, you want to do 4 deals a month, like that's not something that's going to happen just by posting YouTube videos to start out with, right? Yeah. But if they're saying, I want to get to 4 deals a month in the next 6 months, we're going to have to pay to get there.
Right.
But yeah, if someone just wants to do 8 deals a month, like, you know, 8
deals a year.
Yeah. Or I'm sorry, 8 deals a year.
Right.
That's totally different.
Yeah. That's a different number.
8 deals a year, 100% organic could be the way. And just even the same things that a lot of people do, right? Like going to, you know, well, back into the networking events after all this craziness is going on. But yeah, that would be the answer.
Yeah. And again, that was a test because I was just going to see if the answer is paid every time. So you passed. Again, organic, there is a place. And what I would tell someone who's a part-time, right? Maybe they're a mom, maybe they're a dad, they got, you know, they only do this between 9 and 3, right? When the kid's in school. That's who I was thinking. Mm-hmm. You can have a lot of fun. YouTube as a creator is fun. Once you get over the whole, I don't look good on camera, I got to do this, I got to do that nonsense. Yeah. Nobody freaking cares. Mm-hmm. Right, I do this in a hat most of the time, right? So
exactly.
I used to do it in a t-shirt. I'm like, okay, let's have at least a
maybe
collar.
Just a little bit more production quality.
I got sweatpants on the bottom. Trust me, I got a polo shirt on, but you know, just have fun with it. I think the YouTube, if you do it right and you have fun with it, it is really and you really can impact and help people.
Yeah, 100%. And I think we talk about this a lot within our companies and with our clients too, is the relationship that is built through organic marketing is like no other, right?
Like
when the difference between those two too, I mean, with the paid stuff, right? It's a lot of volume. It's a lot of like, hey, let's bring people through. Let's have the conversation. Like, obviously the relationship is there, but through organic, like some of the consulting that we've done, it's like they create, 10, 15, 20 videos in that area. And when they get these inbound calls, it's almost like you're a celebrity, right? It's like, oh my gosh, I'm talking to this person that I've literally binge watched 15 of your videos. And that, the cool part about that too is the conversation, the relationship that is built is, you're no longer fighting for, a commission, right? You're no longer saying, well, Susie down the street and John also does the exact same thing, right? You're more of that commodity.
Yeah.
And again, it's like, you're so much different than everybody else because they've already built that trust before you've even met.
Yeah.
So 100%, you can get to those 8 deals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what I know about real estate agents, and they're some of the hardest workers out there, is most of them are in it for the service. I call it filling your emotional cup. And again, if you're that part-time agent that wants to go 4 to 8, YouTube, organic, become the celebrity in the city. And you're absolutely right. It'll feel like nothing is moving for 6 months, and then you will impact people's lives. I get comments, emails all the time now, just saying the nicest things, which again fills my cup. That's what I'm trying to do the last 50 years of my life. But there is a darker side. There are haters out there. What I've become really good at is I just hit delete. I don't even give them one. It used to bother me. It felt like I always used to have to respond to them. All they want to do is tear people down or fight. Now what I do is I just go in, because I look at my comments on my phone. I go delete. I don't even give them a second. So
yeah, I mean, the way that I look at it is like, anytime, because this is it's another big question that we get, and I'm sure you do too. It's like, well, hey, like, how do you create so much content, right? Like, aren't you scared of the haters? But at the end of the day, like, if someone has the time to do that and like say something negative, it's like it's usually a projection of something, whether they're jealous of what you're doing, or I like to spin it in that way.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like Gary Vee says, right? If they have the time to do that, you got to feel bad for them, right?
Yeah. And then the other thing too is like, if I see a comment, I will comment back to them like a thumbs up. So I'm like, guess what? It's engagement. It's pushing my content in front of more people. So they feel like they're hurting my feelings, but really they're helping me and get in contact with more people. So
it's funny.
Win either way.
That's awesome, because You're right. Sometimes now I don't, if it's full of cuss words, all that stuff immediately.
Yeah, you kind of got to get that out.
Got to get it there. But if it's just it's a well-worded, nasty or negative comment, sometimes I write back, have a great day.
Kill them with kindness. You can't, what are they going to say to that?
That's right. Nobody's replied yet. That's awesome. All right. So this has been a lot of fun. So let's think now, full-time agent. Let's say less than a year in the business, gung-ho, has a little bit of scratch or money behind them, and they want to make a huge splash in the next 90 days. Let's talk about that person.
Okay. Right? So let's define huge splash.
Yeah. Fair question. Let's say they have zero pipeline now, and let's say they want to get, I don't know what's reasonable. Let's say 20. They want to get 20 qualified leads in the next 3 to 6 months.
Okay. So the thing with, let's transition, because I don't like to talk about, I mean, leads is good.
Whatever you want. You tell me.
We'll do. So I think realistically, and here's the thing with online ads too, and what we realize is huge is setting the proper expectations.
Okay, there you go.
Because there's a lot of, and again, obviously won't say names specifically, but there's a lot of companies that will say, hey, we'll bring you a bunch of leads. You'll get a bunch of deals month one, like all these different things. But again, it's not realistic in the sense of like, we can put ads out there. And even if someone was like, hey, I'm ready to go now, the process to find them a house, get them pre-qualified, or, on the seller side too, it's like that process could take, 30 days, right? So if, they're expecting the commission in that first 30 days, let's say they spend their last couple of dollars, like it's not something that we're going to, set the expectation of it can work that way.
Absolutely.
So my recommendation, so someone, nothing in the pipeline, they're looking to really make a splash in the next 90 days, is 100% putting money into YouTube ads. And this actually, this is a great transition and why, right? Because people are always asking me the question of like, well, should we do Facebook? Should we do YouTube? Okay. High level, the differences between Facebook and YouTube, like even look at to your own, people watching this, also you, like how you interact on Facebook. I'm scrolling through Facebook. I'm not looking to buy a house.
No, exactly.
More often than not. Now, of course, you can capture some people that, they might be top of funnel. They might be kind of interested, but they're looking at family stuff. They're looking at cat videos. They're looking at whatever they're searching for on or scrolling through on Facebook. It's to, waste time essentially. So again, you can capture some people that are maybe qualified, but the follow-up game is a lot longer. The sales cycle is like on average from what we've seen about 8 to 12 months. So it's just going to be a long follow-up game. You just kind of have to wait a little bit. There's, about from what we've seen, about 2 to 3% of leads convert into an actual deal, which is really good. But again, it's a little bit more of a waiting game. Now on YouTube, the cool part and why we are transitioning solely 100% into YouTube is because the ability to do really 3 different types of targeting. Number one is the ability to target people that are in market, right? So we define that by putting ads in front of people that are searching things like how to buy a home. How do I sell my home? Should I sell my home myself? What is my home worth? On the buyer side, it could be things like, what does the buying process look like? Those people are, they're not just searching that for their health, right? They're searching that because they're looking for information around how I can start to move this process. So I'd say about 80% of the people that we bring through that type of targeting is looking within the next 30 to 90 days, is what we've seen statistically from across our campaigns. That's the first one. The second one, which Facebook actually took out a couple years back, is the ability to target income ranges. So whereas this is not the end all be all of we're going to bring 100% people that are going to get pre-qualified every single time. Right. It's not super realistic. But it gives us a better chance, and we can target people that are in top 50, top 40, top 20, even top 10% of income ranges. Interesting. So again, if we're only targeting top 50%, the process of them coming through is a lot higher. Right. The third one is what we call, not to get nerdy about it, but it's called affinity on audiences. And this is what we can ethically borrow audiences from websites like Zillow, Realtor.com, Trulia, Redfin. We can go to the website. We can type in, let's say we're working in Virginia, right? We would say houses for sale in Virginia. Yep. We can go to that specific link. We can, they have their Google Tags Manager, what it's called, is what we use. And we can take the traffic from that and put it into the campaign. So literally the people that we're tracking and putting advertisements in front of is people in the right income, people that are actively searching for these things, and people that are on the websites that would make sense for them to be looking, in market within, again, the next 30 to 60 or 30 to 90 days. And the last thing that we do that really kind of like that allows you to do on YouTube is putting them through a not pre-qualification process, but we ask them 15 questions before they're even considered a lead, right? So we ask them, what is your time frame? What is your, estimated mortgage payment per month? Are you already working with a lender? Are you already pre-qualified? Are you working with a realtor? When are you looking to move? Like just so many different questions. So we're going to bring in a lot less leads, right? Facebook, you can get leads for like 80 cents. YouTube, we're seeing leads on average from about $7 to $15, but they've already filled out all that information. 80% of the time they're self-booking a call with the agents that we're working with. And it makes the process a lot easier. And then of course we have an in-house ISA. We have people that are setting appointments for our clients. Now that's obviously our service, but just doing that and just looking into the information yourself will definitely help out. So long-winded, that's what I would do if I was an agent. In the next 90 days, I wanted to make like 100% make a splash. That's what I would do.
Awesome. So let's get this out. We'll hit it again at the end. I know there will be agents and whatnot looking at this now that want to reach out to you to see what you offer. Where can people find more about your company, your services? Where do you want them to go?
Yep. So we, as you can see behind me, we're revamped. We actually just rebranded. We, RE Agent Growth is what we were working on with the Facebook side. Just rebranded to Revamped Real Estate. So I don't know if you'll put links anywhere, probably easier that way. But if you go to revampedrealestate.com, that goes through, just kind of goes a 15-minute video. I walk everyone through the exact process of what we do from beginning to end. If it makes sense and you want to talk about us, again, like I said earlier, it's not something we hard sell anybody. We want to learn more about you, your situation, if it even makes sense. If it doesn't, we're going to point you in the right direction and so that you can go get the resources that you need to reach the goals that you're looking for.
Yeah. And again, we'll hit it at the end. The reason I like to do this out loud, we will put in links, is because this will be converted to a podcast on Saturday. So
that's usually where I listen to it anyway.
It's recorded there for you. So, okay. Cool. So we've talked about, the brand new agent, or no, we talked about a part-time agent going 4 to 8 organic. Love that answer. Talked about the heavy, the young gun or the person that wants to make a splash in 90 days. Now let's talk about the brokerage, right? You kind of talked about a gentleman earlier. I don't care what it is. He or she's got 200 agents, 300 agents. They want to double the business. They want to go from number 3 to number 1 in their area, their state, their city, whatever it is. What do we do there, right? Do they create channels by teams? Do they do it at the brokerage level? Let's talk about that big heavy hitter.
Yeah, that's a really great question. Actually, no one has ever really asked me that, because they're always like, I'm here. But I feel like a lot of the brokerages that I talk to, they already have some of those pieces fit together. So if I was a brokerage, and this would be, I'll keep it super high level because there's a lot of different strategies and things like that.
Well, let's get your phone ringing or your email going. So let's tease them. What would you do? And then they can reach out to you for details.
100%. So this is actually something we're testing out for a couple of the larger brokerages we're working with. So basically taking exactly what we did, or just with the YouTube stuff, just putting more money behind it, right? Because the more, it literally is the way that we explain it is, it's a legal way to print money, right? The more money that you put into it, the more you're going to get out. It's going to reach more people. These platforms are going to optimize specifically to give you what you want back from it. Because if it didn't, nobody, like YouTube, Google wouldn't be companies, because they wouldn't be having, they wouldn't get advertising dollars. People continue to pay them because, again, they're good at what they do. They have everyone's like user data, right? So using that, putting more money behind it. I would also take, what we're testing out is building out 100 million% needs to be like multiple people on the back end that are following up and calling those leads. I've seen this. We've worked with over 400 real estate agent brokers and teams. And the biggest drop off, because we do have like some courses and like more do-it-yourself type things. We'll say the success rate on those is not low. It's probably about like 40% because of the follow-up, right? Yeah. Think about it, right? If you're an agent, or a team or whatever it is, the follow-up on some of these leads that aren't like super hot right now, it's the last thing you're worried, right? You're worried about finding the current homes for the people you're working with. You're looking for, other sellers. You're especially in this market, like homes are going like that. So it's a lot more to follow up with. So larger brokerage, having multiple people following up at the back end. Cool part with working with us is we have 6 people right now that are full-time, literally following up with your leads. They're branded as you, they're branded as your assistant. So it helps out with that. Yeah. With that process. So you're not even seeing leads, right? Working with us, you're only sitting down with people we've already pre-qualified, or not pre-qualified.
You're going to appointments.
Exactly. So we've asked them the hard questions of like, what can you afford monthly for your mortgage? Right. Because if you can't keep qualified, we don't want to waste your time.
Exactly.
other things like, where are they looking? When are they looking, right? If they're looking in 12 months plus, we're not even going to send those over. We're going to put them through our own nurture sequence. And then, 12 months down the road, we're going to send them over to you. So again, call center, having that in place, making sure that you have people there to follow up the leads that are coming through. Then would also create more of the organic channels, right? So creating consistent content on Facebook, creating consistent content on YouTube. My recommendation, I wouldn't do multiple channels. I would do one specific to, let's say, your area. So for me, I'm in an area like Hampton Roads. This is the area what it's called. Okay. So there's like 6 or 7 cities that's engulfed in that. I would create a channel around all that. Right. And then create content around kind of like what we talked earlier, the organic stuff of people that are going to be searching for that. Yeah. And then I would also do, I don't know if you've heard of this, but it's called retargeting on Facebook. So basically, long story short, what it is everybody that goes to your website, everyone that goes to, let's say, your YouTube channel, everybody that goes to the landing pages where these other platforms are bringing them, is we can put ads back in front of those people and say, hey, you didn't book a call with us. Why not? Or, hey, you didn't, get in contact with our team. Why did you do that? Yeah. We're seeing, let's say out of every 100 people, about 20% of people will like go through and like actually fill out the form. Yeah. The rest of those, if you don't have retargeting in place, you're literally just losing out.
Missed them. Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. So we just put more content in front of them, literally just calling them out and just saying like, hey, like, you didn't book a call. Like what's the deal?
What
can
we
help you out
What's
with?
up?
Yeah. Where'd you go? So that
awesome.
would be, again, high level. It's a lot of different things, and I can talk again all day long on strategy. Yeah. But I think being able to hit all those major platforms, you're getting organic, you're getting brand building, you're getting lead traffic, you're getting like appointment, just so many different things. But that's if you have, your brokerage, a couple hundred agents, even call it 50 agents, and making sure that you are feeding them. The cool part about that too is these days, what do single agents want? They want leads. They want appointments. They want opportunities to be able to, we talk about this all the time too. 93% or 87 something, 90% of agents quit after the first 3 years. Right. Why? Because they don't have business. They can't sustain that. So if you're a brokerage that is offering preset appointments to your agent, that's basically what we're talking to Chuck about, but you don't you're going to win. Right. Yeah. And then we can go down the rabbit hole of like, if you're with EXP or whoever that does like a rev share, like if you can offer that to your agents, build up a pipeline and scale to the moon.
Yeah. That's awesome. So again, let's leave it one more time. Where would you like agents, brokers to call you? We want to make your phone, email ring. Where do you want them to go?
Yep. So they can email me at aaron@reagentgrowth.com. Full transparency, my email gets slammed. So if you want to watch some videos of what we're working on, if you just go to revampedrealestate.com/REVSL. That's where, again, our really quick video, you can book a call with our team if you want to. Again, we'll walk you through a process of what ours looks like, and then obviously give you guys some resources. And then I'll just throw one more thing in there too. We have a completely free Facebook group. We have about 2,500 people in there. And what it is literally just free content. Every Wednesday we go live talking about how to run ads, how to do your own YouTube stuff, content creation, video editing. It's a lot of stuff. And that's just YouTube ad success for real estate professionals. If you just search that up on Facebook, you'll be able to find that.
Very cool. So the website again, you want to go to is revampedrealestate.com/REVSL.
Correct.
Very cool. I will put your email in the description, first and second line, to help you out. And again, agents, brokers, really anybody interested in building business, I would tell you YouTube is a tremendous channel. Get over yourself. It's not scary. The people that go early adopters win. Early adopters win. So
always.
Yeah. If you want to dominate your market, I suggest looking into YouTube. If you want some help, really blow it out, reach out to Aaron, his team. I loved his first answer, go organic. That was a test. Again, he passed. So he will tell you if that's your right answer. So Aaron, any closing thoughts or tips you want to leave people with?
Not really, man. I think just I always end these shows or even our videos. It's just really asking yourself, what ultimately, what do you want? Right. Because that's going to give you, really the plan of action that you need to put into place, and then just figure out, hey, what do I need to do to get to that point? Is it paid? Is it organic? Is it just, making a couple of phone calls? It's, whatever you want, do the things you need to do to get there, and it'll work out every time.
Very cool. Well, we will leave it there, folks. Again, Aaron, thank you for your time, man. This has been a lot of fun.
For sure, man. Thanks for having me on.
You got it.